When Dottie went to heaven, she left me with a feeling of enormous joy. Hi, I'm Bob DeMarco, founder of the Alzheimer's Reading Room. Please remember to like our podcast and subscribe to our channel. Dottie went to heaven shortly after 5 a.m. on Friday, May 25th. I was there. When Dottie went to heaven, I had my arm around her, my cheek on her cheek, and I gently whispered in her ear, "Go into the light." I had more to say, but for now that is between me and Dottie. After I said my piece, I turned my head and looked up at the ceiling. You might be wondering why. In the past, I read extensively on the near-death experience. This happens when a person dies and then comes back to life. The majority of these people describe their experience in an almost exact identical way. When they die, they soar out of their body and hover above the scene. In other words, they hover up near the ceiling. They can see themselves lying there. They see everyone. They hear everything that is being said. They also say they are encompassed with an overwhelming feeling of peacefulness, and they are encompassed in an enormous bright light. They are in the light. When they come back to life, many feel as if their life is not yet complete. They have a mission to accomplish on earth. Others who come back are very bitter. They don't want to come back. The feeling of peacefulness was all-encompassing, so pervasive that they did not want to come back into their physical body. When I turned my head and looked up at the ceiling, I smiled. I wanted Dottie to know that I was going to be fine and happy. I didn't say anything out loud, but I did send a clear message. I suppose I thought she could read my mind. Sadly, I didn't see Dottie up there. I was really hoping to do so, and for those of you who know me, you'll understand that. I was hoping I would see. When Dottie went to heaven, she looked incredibly peaceful, beautiful actually. It was really impressive, heartwarming, uplifting. I burned that image into my mind. Some of you have speculated that you think and believe it was more difficult, painful, or frightening that I led on before Dottie went to heaven. Well, for sure it was difficult, emotionally taxing for sure, but spiritually wonderful. Why? Because I knew that Dottie was getting ready to go to heaven. I knew for some time, or at least believed for several months, that Dottie had completed her mission on earth and was getting ready to go to heaven. So I was not caught off guard. As an aside note, I'll tell you, I started mentioning to my friends, my close friends, that Dottie was going to go to heaven. After Dottie went to heaven, I felt numb, dull, but I wasn't unhappy. I just couldn't get attached to my feelings immediately because I was physically drained. Caregiving drains you little by little, and I was really worn out, although I did not realize it until about the day after. After everyone cleared out, I went into the living room, looked up to heaven, and said in a loud, clear, strong voice, "Franny, I did it." Franny was my father, Frank DeMarco. He died 20 years ago in the same room that Dottie died in, and in the same spot. Dottie and Franny both received their final wish, to die at home. 20 years ago, I promised Franny over and over before he died that I would take care of Dottie. As a result, it wasn't so hard to take care of her. It was not a burden. I always intended to do it. Of course, I knew that this was what I was going to do long before Franny died, so it was easy to say. I promised myself long before I promised Franny that I would take care of both of them and that I would do everything humanly possible to give them their wish, to die at home with dignity. Frankly, both Dottie and Franny had the same fear that they would be put in a home to die with some horrible death and to be forgotten. I suppose this was a result of what they saw when they were younger and impressionable. To be honest, both Franny and Dottie both looked very peaceful after they died. Franny was first. I must admit I was surprised at how he looked. I didn't expect it. Dottie was Dottie. So what can I say? She never stopped surprising me, not even at the end. Many of the readers of the Alzheimer's Reading Room prayed for Dottie. I want to thank you for that. Many of you told me that you would pray for me. Please don't stop. As many of you know, many years ago, Dottie and decided to leave the burden behind. We decided to walk along the path leading to joy. For a long time now, I've been able to feel this joy in a real and tangible way. I feel it in my heart. My heart is not pounding or beating fast when I feel the joy. However, I can feel my heart at all times. It seems bigger, heavier, and fuller. Caregiving is an effort of the heart and mind. The feeling of joy for a caregiver is cumulative, I believe. It's not a fleeting feeling. The feeling is well beyond what you might call happy. I don't want to mislead you. I am crying gently, or tears are coming out of my eyes as I write this and as I speak it. Nevertheless, I am not sad. I am feeling the joy coming from within me. Some of you might get to hear me speak in the future. If so, you can decide for yourself how you think I might be feeling. I never thought I would say this, but the creation of the Alzheimer's Reading Room was an act of joy, not a burden. I can say with complete confidence that each of you are a direct reflection of the joy I'm feeling. Please know, it is my belief that Dottie went to heaven. She went on her own terms, and she went in her own home, as she wished. I cannot imagine how it could have been better. So when you think of Dottie and when you think of me, please remember, when Dottie went to heaven, it was a beautiful event. I won't be forgetting that, not ever. Dottie left me with the feeling of enormous joy. I won't forget that either. If you look in the show notes, you'll find a series of articles that I've written to accompany this. I want to point out the article, The Power of Purpose in Our Lives. I wrote that specifically for caregivers, and I hope you'll take the time to look at it. I also have an article on 12 ways to control caregiver stress, as well as some other things that will help you with communication. My name is Bob DeMarco. I'm the founder of the Alzheimer's Reading Room, and I was an Alzheimer's caregiver. Thanks for listening.